What's up, guys? Barry Gaming here, back with some more Idle Heroes, and today we are starting episode 1 of a new tier list series. So what this is gonna be very similar to the old videos we used to do on this channel, the old support hero and damage dealer guide videos, but we're gonna do them in a little bit more of a tier list format. So I already made sure I added every artifact possible that we can rank, plus every stone combination that will be decent for heroes to use. And we will be going over it. We'll rank all the artifacts, all the stones, so you know what to go for your heroes. And episode 1, starting it off, is going to be probably the most popular and influential hero in the game right now, and that is going to be Tick. So let's start it off. Let's jump on over. Let's rank the artifacts and talk about why each one is good or bad, and then we will continue on with the stones, and lastly talk about gear setup and enables. So let's start it off. We are going to pretty much go over both the Ormus Workshop version and the regular version of each artifact. Starting off, since we are talking about ticks, there is one artifact that is top tier no matter what, no matter who you are, and that is going to be an Ormus Workshop Punisher Staff. Now, typically you want a 2-star minimum, like a Radiant, or even nowadays with Void imprinting on ticks, getting ticks to Void 2 and then having a glittery Punisher Staff is pretty much essential for Aspen Dungeon. It will help a ton with Tower of Oblivion as well. Granted, we don't really need to talk about Sealand that much because you're not building him to E5 for it. You're using him as baby ticks, so artifacts on them don't matter as much. But when we're talking about endgame, one of the best artifacts for him has to be that Ormus Workshop Punisher Staff. Following it up in the next tier down for A tier has to be regular Punisher, because even that by itself is very good. He synergizes extremely well with crit and crit damage, two very, very important things. The other one that is really important on him is Demon Bell. So Demon Bell is going to be used whenever you want to burst round 1, or if you're talking about the Vortex where you want to feed him energy, you want to use an active on him round 1, you want to be able to do something along the lines of an Ignis Suicide to give him even more energy. You want to find ways to let him do actives in both round 1 and 2. So, of course, you got to throw the Ormus version up there as well, but typically you actually want that on your other heroes to go faster than him and use it before he goes, so he can use an offensive artifact and then just get fed all that energy that you need. But if you can't, using energy is not horrible on him. It can be decent. But yeah, beyond that, it kind of falls off really hard on ticks. He is extremely reliant on pay-to-win artifacts, in my opinion. There are some other options you can, of course, run on him, such as probably like a Crown. Kiss a Ghost can be decent on him as well. While I'm at it, I will probably throw an Antlers Cane, an upgraded Antlers Cane on there too. Granted, it's not that great. I would be tempted to maybe even drop it down a tier for him, but it can be okay. And while we're at it, we can probably throw the other offensive Ormus Workshop item on there. It can be good. Is it great? No, not necessarily. Maybe even a regular Kiss of Ghost as well. It's kind of borderline on that one. It's not really anything that's going to be amazing on him, but it can have some use. And sadly, there's not much more room to throw anything else. I mean, to this one, I would have to throw an Echo of Death on here in C tier. Is it amazing on him? No, but it can get the job done for free to play. Could you bump it up to a B tier? Maybe, yes, but when you compare it to the other artifacts and what they do, it just kind of bumps it down the list. The crit and the attack on it are absolutely amazing still, so it does have some use. I would throw some of the Ormus Workshop items down here as well. Yeah, I don't know. Rui Scepter, you know, we've tested it on our mean team account. It can do decent, so it does have maybe some uses. And then, of course, the bottom tier, I would probably throw in all the rest of the items like this. I'm not even going to put regular Gus's Magic Ball, Torch, or Antlers King. You know what? Actually, hold on. I need to correct that. I think I do want to throw Augustus Magic Ball up there, mainly because in PvP, you're going to want to run him with speed most of the time, because PvP, at the end of the day, is all about the speed. So regular Augustus Magic Ball, it could have some use, but I feel like I'm happy with this right here. Maybe the one exception is putting a regular Rui Scepter up a tier. That could kind of bounce back and forth. But again, outside of that, that might be good, just because, I mean, you're getting HP, you're getting speed, and you're also getting that precision for CC, so that could work out. But mainly, in my opinion, from what I've seen with Tix and my personal experiences, he works much better with offensive weapons on his side. And of course, if you can get Ormus Workshop items, they can be really, really strong for him as well. The two that are left off the list are Torch and Candy Bar, mainly because they just don't have that much to do for him. So yeah, it's kind of where this is where I would sit with him. The next thing we do need to talk about, though, is the stones for him. So when it comes to stones, you really have to wonder, or you really have to be paying attention to Aspen Dungeon and Vortex. And when you're considering that, you're talking about all-out offense. There's one stone at the very top of the list. It's a little hard to read on here, I know, sorry guys, but that one is going to be the Holy Damage Attack Stone. Tip of the top, cream of the crop, way at the top. It's going to be far outweighs everything else as the best. But that's mainly for Aspen Dungeon and PvP. Not even PvP, mainly just Aspen Dungeon. One item that has become extremely hot lately is crit attack for Vortex. So you guys know Vortex is pretty much becoming one of the most important parts of the game to get more stellar shards, to get more crystals, more resources. It's amazing for resource generation. And a lot of people at the top of the leaderboards are running their ticks with crit attack stones, because at the end of the day, you need to crit to do all that amazing damage, especially if you're using a Punisher Staff, an Ormus Punisher Staff. That's going to be a lot of extra damage coming from your ticks. So that's something that's really, really important. Probably the other thing that I would rank up the top as an S tier is going to be speed attack, and that's going to be mainly for PvP. So again, at the end of the day, PvP is all about speed. So these kind of cover the three different areas of the game: Aspen Dungeon, PvP, and PvE damage. So Vortex kind of falls under that PvE in my opinion. So those are all really good ones. If you, for some reason, cannot manage to get the perfect stone, so if you can't get that Holy Damage attack, there are some other options. Skill Damage attack, or attack are two other options that are decent. They're not amazing. They're definitely not amazing, but they can be okay for you. Same with PvP. Speed Crit can be a nice substitute stone as well if you can't find that speed attack stone. So that's why I put them all in the A tier. When we jump down to the B tier, though, these are going to be the less optimal stones. Things like speed HP, speed precision, because you still want that speed stat. But of course, the secondary on each one of those is not great. As far as an offensive stone, precision, attack, it can do okay. Nothing amazing. And now that I'm actually looking through this list, I do not have an armor break attack stone. I just realized that. I would probably rank that up in A tier with the skill damage one. Not quite S tier, but probably an A tier. I'll have to get a graphic for that. I just realized I did not have armor break, but that one can be decent so long as you're not using a Kiss a Ghost. And then when you get down further, I'd probably throw an attack HP stone down further. The HP is not really necessary on him. He's all about that offensive stat. And then of course that throws in the D tier, the HP stone. Definitely not something you want to go for when we're talking about ticks. Now, as far as gear setup goes on ticks, most of the time you are going to want to run a 1-3 setup on ticks. The one piece of equipment, the mage weapon or accessory you have to decide on. If you use the weapon as your one mage set, you will be getting crit on it, whereas if you swap out to the accessory, you'll be getting extra skill damage. You need to decide whether you need that 5% crit or not, whether you're in Aspen Dungeon, PvE, PvP, you have to decide that for yourself. And of course, your enables are going to be depending on what you're doing. If you're doing things like Aspen Dungeon, you're doing Vortex, you're going to want to run similar setups, a 2-2-3-2-2 setup. If you're running for straight PvE damage, which he's not great in like Flame Shrine, Broken Spaces, but you can use Balance Strike in those situations. Otherwise, Unbending Will is definitely the option to go for. And the other setup that you could run if you want a PvP setup that's focusing on speed, you're going to want to do a 3-2-3-3-2 setup. The last thing we need to talk about as far as setup for your ticks is going to be the Void Imprints. You'll see here I've kind of gone past Void 2. Really, ultimately, what you want your Void Tixes or your Tixes Void Imprints to be is all the way up to this second one. So anything past that isn't really relevant, especially if you're pushing Aspen Dungeon. The V3 imprint is Revenging Wraith. It's the one that talks about his on death passive. It's one that you don't really need to worry about. I mean, if you can get him to V4, that would be amazing. His active is devastating already, so it would just make it more. But optimally, what you want to go for is V2 and then hold there, because that'll give you the most damage output and it'll make your basic attack really hit hard. So guys, let me know what you think. Do you enjoy this type of video? Am I missing anything? Should I go over anything else? Maybe guild tech in the future? Something along those lines. You guys let me know. I'm going to try to do this for all the most top tier meta heroes to start off, and then we'll slowly work through just about every other hero in the game that has some relevance. We'll probably dodge those King Bartons and Valkyries most likely, but maybe we'll even touch base on them at some point as well. Leave a comment down below if you like these setups with the tier list. Also let me know who you want me to do as the next guide, because I'm definitely going to be looking for what you guys want to see. I'll read all the comments. I'll see who people really want to, see who kind of gets the most upvotes, things like that. And we will most likely try to prioritize that. So let me know what you guys think. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're getting closer and closer to our next $100 giveaway. So make sure you are hitting that sub button, leaving comments on the videos, and I'll see you guys next time.